Being in the software industry is probably a little like marketing. You got to push that ball up the hill every day.
There's this idea in dental, right? So it's like, we want this all-in-one product, right? We want the all-in-one thing that does everything for us. But some would argue it's like, hey, name me a company that did all-in-one that was actually good, that people like to use, all of the different services. And it was like, can't name one. What about like Apple? And they're like, well, no, Apple they integrate with everybody else. That's the trick. What are your thoughts? Does dental need this like all-in-one where everything's there, or an all-in-one from a standpoint that it works with everybody integrates with them?
We did the best of both worlds. So we have this all-encompassing product that offers modules in all of those areas. But if you absolutely want to use your own specific system or module, we also created an enterprise API layers.
Welcome back to another episode of Dental Marketing Go. I'm your host, Gary Bird. I'm the founder of SMC National, where we help you create, convert, and close more new patients so you can grow the way that you want. But you can't grow if you have to log into like 400 different dashboards and your team doesn't have time and no one can learn all the different softwares that you have because you're busy with patients. And today's guest is trying to solve that exact problem. Her name is April, and she's the founder of Ora Dental. And she's going to walk through how she built a PMS platform at Aspen and now is releasing it to the masses. And it's pretty cool. I'm going to admit there's some things in here that have been a long time coming. And I want you to listen, and I want you to see if this might be something that solves a lot of your core problems. Stay tuned. All right, we are live, April, and I'm excited to have this conversation. Also, I'll just tell the audience how I met you. We recently were having a conversation, and we were talking about solutions to the big problems in the dental industry. And one of the biggest problems in the dental industry is that you got to have like 400 or 500 different dashboards that you got to log into to make anything work. And so you got your marketing dashboard, you got your finance dashboard, you got your Google Doc dashboard, you got your PMS, you got your CRM, you got your communication platform. And it all seems like stuff that you need, but it's not humanly possible to log into all of them, right? And so I'm sitting here having this conversation, and someone said, well, have you seen Ora yet? And I said, no, I have not. And what is that? And they started to describe what you were trying to build. And it seemed so cool. I was just like, I got to get April on a call. So I reached out, and you were gracious enough to hop on here. And most people don't know this, but I really just do podcasts so I can learn. And this is just an easy way for me to quickly learn about people's businesses and how they approach and solve problems, and do it in a way that everybody else can learn at the same time. So thank you so much for coming on today. And could you just tell us a little bit about Ora, what you guys are doing that's different than everybody else, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, no, great. And thank you so much for thinking of us and inviting me on the call today. I really appreciate that. Ora is a bit of a labor of love for me. So I've been working on Ora for the last several years. And we had initially partnered with one of the largest DSOs back in 2018 to create the first truly cloud-based, built from the ground up, architectured system for groups and small business, dental practices, large groups, single offices, multi-location, multi-specialty. And we successfully did that, launched it. They're using it all their locations. And we owned the commercialization rights to take Ora to market for everybody else, so that we could take this great product that we had just built and then offer it to other offices. And so we looked for...
Oh, so real quick, so you built it just for a small group of offices because they needed something like this. Is that right?
Well, it was designed for one of the biggest of the DSOs in partnership with them. But we did it in this...
How to talk about who that was and what it cost and things like that, or no?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a secret. I think most people know that we partnered with Aspen to build the platform. And we did that for 5 years. And then we took the commercialization rights that we had and have partnered with PracticeTek to bring the product to market. And PracticeTek is a holding company for about 19 different retail healthcare brands. We service over 40,000 practices globally across chiropractic, optometry, behavioral health, dental, ortho, and some brands that folks would definitely recognize in the space. And so with that in mind, I sort of had my hands, if you will, on the best of class items that Ora had been missing a few months ago. And so we really did set out to create the sort of one-of-a-kind, unique platform that would handle your practice management, your forms, electronic forms, your online scheduling, your analytics, your reporting, your marketing. So reputation management is a part of Ora, social media management, getting your feedback from your patients, letter writing, campaigns. So there's marketing, a campaign module built in. All of your call center scheduling. So if you're big enough to have a call center, there's a module for that. And we've also integrated white label ERX, Change Healthcare for attachments, claims verifications, as well as cloud-based imaging, so that not only can your practice management be in the cloud, but also your imaging. And then with that cloud-based imaging, we have the Pearl AI automatic imaging also built in. So we really wanted to create this sort of one-stop shop platform for dental offices that are looking for multi-specialty, multi-location, cloud-based, be able to grow with you. So whether you've got one office, 100, 1,000, the system can scale as you scale, and then offer the opportunity to kind of get rid of some of what we call vendor fatigue, where you've got to have 6 or 7 different vendors doing all of these things for you. And we were able to consolidate it into one platform, including reminders, recall, automatic callbacks, payments is also built in. So we really tried to put Ora together in a sense that made sense from a platform perspective, but then also solve some of the burdens that we were seeing plague the industry.
Wow. So, okay. So this sounds like too good to be true, right? So like, where's the catch? Like, help me understand it. Cause like, it's like, sign me up right now. If I was a dental office, I'm like, good to go. Like what is there a catch? Is there something that, hey, it does this really well, but it doesn't do this? Like, walk me through where the catch is, if there is one.
Well, I'm sure we'll probably find a few things along the way that we can always do better. I mean, being in the software industry is probably a little like marketing. You got to push that ball up the hill every day. And there's, we're on a continuous loop of constant improvement. I'm a big believer in listening to and in following the voice of our customers. And so as they make suggestions, we will continue to improve the platform. Absolutely. I mean, this whole system was built by listening to the customer. And we will continue that philosophy along the way as well. It's probably not, like, for example, on the campaign management module, you're going to get the ability to create your own custom campaign. You could set up a new patient. You can target patient groups. But, does it have all the features of, say, a HubSpot? Not yet. Right. Like there's going to be something. So like you may not necessarily have a full marketing workflow that you can build out, but it's going to give you the parts that you need to successfully run your dental office. You can create a coupon within Ora. There's a coupon management module for offices that want to offer, $100 off tooth whitening or things of that nature. And then you can send that campaign out to your patients and have a response come back. So you can track it. So
does this almost have like a CRM model built into it almost?
Yeah. So there's a CRM model built in. As long as the person is in your system as either a patient or a lead or a responsible party, then you can market to them and communicate with them directly.
That's amazing. That's really, really cool. Okay. So here's a question for you. So there's this idea in dental, right? So it's like, we want this all-in-one product, right? We want the all-in-one thing that does everything for us. But some would argue, and I've been on both sides of the argument, so I jump back and forth, but some would argue it's like, hey, this is the question that got me. Name me a company that did all-in-one that was actually good, that people like to use, all of the different services. And it was like, I can't name one. And it was the closest thing I could come up with. Like, what about like Apple? And they're like, well, no, Apple has, they integrate with everybody else, right? Mm-hmm. That's the trick. So what are your thoughts? Does dental need this like all-in-one where everything's there and it doesn't work with other people, or an all-in-one from a standpoint that it works with everybody integrates with them, and it's like this playground where you can have everything working together, but you only have one place that you're really logging into?
No, and that's a great question, and one that we've wrestled with internally too. And I think that from our perspective, we did the best of both worlds. So we have this all-encompassing product that offers modules in all of those areas. But if you absolutely want to use your own specific system or module, we also created an enterprise API layer. So I have over 200 APIs across the platform, which allows me to easily connect to third parties. And so we're not closing off. So we're not saying that you only can work with this set of modules or tools that we're putting out. But what we are saying is that we think this solves a big part of your problem. And if you don't want the headaches of trying to figure out all of these different vendors and manage all these different relationships, and a lot of it's like when you're dealing with when something does go wrong, it's that support problem. So who do I call if I've got 5 or 6 or 7 different vendors? And one of our practices we figured out had 13 different software systems that they are interacting with every month and paying every month. And in that situation, it's a lot of times it's really difficult to get a response to figure out what part broke, and people start pointing fingers. In our world, you have one phone call, one place to go to, and then we go figure out from there if there's an issue somewhere. But for those practices that do want to keep certain connections, we do have APIs available in order to do that.
That's awesome. I love that answer. It's a great job. Okay, so if I was a dental office, I have 5 to 10 offices already, right? Let's just call it 10. I got 10 offices. I'm using Open Dental mainly, but I'm really considering moving to the cloud. Why would I pick you over all the other options out there right now? Like what would be that moving factor of like, okay, I'm going to go with Ora?
Well, from the Open Dental perspective, we have a data migration tool that allows us to migrate that data within a few days, which not a lot of other practice management systems do. Secondly, we are very scalable. So all of your patients can be in one database, regardless of if you have 10 openings, 100, 500, you still have one database that you can get your patients into. Not all the practice management systems allow that. And we're truly multi-specialty. So we have general, pediatric, perio module. We have an orthodontic module, which is a true orthodontic module. And we have the ability to service oral surgeons. We are adding medical claims processing going into Q1 of next year. And so we have some additional functions that not a lot of the other practice management systems have from a true multi-specialty, multi-location design.
That's really cool. Now, what is the thing that you're like, we got all this cool stuff, but this is the thing that we're missing that we're really excited about adding?
Well, we are working on some AI projects for next year. We have some AI built into our scheduling modules that allow for ease of use for online scheduling and being able to determine what types of appointments can be scheduled online and automatically go and contact folks that, for say, have recalled that's on the books that hasn't been scheduled. So we're going to expand that along the scheduling lines. We're also looking at the possibility of adding AI notes for 2024 so that you can have some things automatically generated that have less administrative burden on our doctors, that they still get to review and check and all that good stuff. So that's sort of some things that are upcoming with the platform. And then we're also, like I mentioned earlier, adding medical claims so that we can really service our oral surgeon group to the full extent that they need to with the automatic claims for medical.
Hey, sorry to interrupt the show, but I got a segment that's going to bring a lot of value to you. It's called Ask Gary, and people are sending in their questions about marketing. Today's question comes from Dr. Michael, and he wanted to know, what can I do at the end of the year to really boost my marketing, to make sure my numbers don't slip, especially in November and December? And there's a couple things that you can do. Number one, you can ramp up Invisalign. Parents love buying Invisalign for their kids at the end of the year as a Christmas gift. And the best part about that, you'll get a bunch of revenue and you won't have to do the labor or the work until the next year. So that actually drives up revenue and keeps your labor down. Super valuable. The other thing is use it or lose it at the end of the year. And lastly, you have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of unaccepted treatment in your PMS. All you have to do is email them and let them know that you are running some kind of promotion at the end of the year to get them in. We actually have exact scripting about this. So if you want to learn more about this, just reach out to me. I'll get it to you. And back to the show. That's so cool. I love the auto notes. We've been playing around with ChatGPT and call tracking and like having it organize things. It's so cool. It's so powerful, right? Like it's almost endless of the stuff you could do with it. So I can only imagine what you guys will be able to do with that. Are you guys pretty open to working with other vendors out there? Like, and I think you kind of answered this earlier, but I know this is like an exact question that offices have, is like, can I keep most of my vendors, or are there like, yeah, we work with some, but not with others? What's your approach with partnering with the other people out in the dental ecosystem?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And we do have partners. So we have partnered with Soda Imaging already, Pearl AI. We've partnered with Patient Prism because they have a great service with what they do in terms of call coaching and conversion that we're not a part of, and we're not going to do out of our platform. We've also partnered with a company called Velux on some of the API data migration work and treatment 24/7. And so we do have some existing partnership opportunities already in place. And then others are going to be driven purely by that voice of the customer that I said earlier is so important. So we have the open and enterprise APIs available so that we can make it easy to do that. And then as we, onboard practices and figure out where we have a gap or where they really want to partner with certain people, we will continue to add those in.
That's so cool. If someone, anything else that we should talk about, any other benefits or any other things that you guys are doing that you say, hey, you should really know about this, Gary?
Yeah, I think in terms of one of the big ones that we get a lot of interest in is the fact that we do auto posting for electronic remittance advices. So when the ERAs and EOBs come back from the clearinghouse, we are auto posting those into the patient and insurance records. We are also providing analytics and.
Is there any other PMS that does that?
I don't know if there's a PMS that does that. I know there's some add-on services that might do that, but I'm not aware of another PMS.
Agreed. Yeah, I haven't heard of that
either. Does it. And then we are also automating our attachment services so that the system will attach images to the claims before they go in and notes, so that that's one less step that the offices have to do. And I think, one of the big things for us that went into designing this was to make it as efficient as possible for folks that maybe haven't been in the dental industry either ever or for very long. So we all know that there's a huge burden on staffing issues, especially at the assistant level across dental and ortho specifically. And so a lot of times you're having to hire folks that don't know a dental code. So we really did pay a lot of attention to that and try to create a workflow that is point and click. They don't have to know the codes to use our system and still be able to pick it up and learn it, relatively quickly.
Wow, this is so cool. Like, I am really, really impressed. And thank you so much for coming on. I know you guys are going to blow up. You're going to do great things. So don't forget about me when you do. Come back and tell me the rest of the story. All right. And so if someone wants to connect and really consider using you guys as an option for their practice management software, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
We do have a website. So oradental.com is our main website. I can be reached all the time at april.lowry@oradental.com via email. I'm out on LinkedIn, pretty active. So I'm probably one of the more contactable folks on the planet these days, it seems.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, April. I appreciate it. You guys are doing awesome stuff. So I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.